You booked the flight 3 months ago. At the time, it looked cheap. $79 from Chicago to Orlando. You felt like you beat the system. Then the checkout page arrived. Carry-on fee, seat selection fee, priority boarding fee, trip protection fee. Suddenly, that $79 flight is closer to $200. And then you actually fly it. Your knees are pressed into the seat in front of you. Boarding takes forever. The overhead bins are already full. Someone is arguing with a gate agent. The Wi-Fi barely works. The snack costs $9. And the person reclining into your space seems personally offended that you exist. You land tired, irritated, and wondering why flying feels like this now. Because here's the strange part. Flying used to be different. In the 1960s and 1970s, airlines served full meals on real plates. Seats were larger, cabins were quieter. People dressed up to fly. Some planes even had lounges and cocktail bars on board. And this wasn't just luxury travel. Adjusted for inflation, tickets were expensive, but the experience was the product. Airlines competed on comfort, service, and reputation. Now they compete on how little they can give you while still making you book again. That shift didn't happen by accident. In 1978, the United States passed the Airline Deregulation Act. Before that, the government controlled routes and pricing. The system was stable but rigid. Deregulation changed everything. Airlines could now compete freely on price. And at first, it worked. Ticket prices dropped. Air travel exploded. But then airlines noticed something else. Most passengers don't choose based on comfort. They choose based on price. And they'll accept almost anything to save a few dollars. That single behavior reshaped the entire industry. Airlines began removing anything not strictly necessary to get you from point A to point B. Legroom shrank, meals disappeared, seats got thinner, and that lost space didn't just vanish, it was sold. Every extra row of seats on an aircraft can generate millions in revenue over time. Your comfort became density, and density became profit. Then came the next step. Unbundling. What used to be one ticket became a menu. Want to pick your seat? Fee? Want to carry on? Fee? Want to board early? Fee? The base fare stays low because it has to look good online. That's the hook. Everything else is where the business begins, because people don't process total cost as clearly as they process the headline price. A $99 ticket with add-ons feels cheaper than a higher all-in fare, even when it isn't. The low fare gets you in. After that, the system takes over. And the strange part is, even that isn't the most important shift. For many airlines, the flight itself is no longer the main business. It's everything around it. The real money is in loyalty programs. Some frequent flyer systems are now worth tens of billions of dollars on their own. Here's how it works. Every time you use an airline credit card, the bank pays the airline for miles that get distributed to customers as rewards. Airlines sell enormous quantities of points to banks, and the margins are extraordinary. During the pandemic, when travel demand collapsed and airlines were hemorrhaging money, several airlines used their loyalty programs as collateral to secure massive loans. Investors viewed the rewards programs as some of the most valuable assets the airlines owned. In some cases, analysts estimated the loyalty programs were worth more than the airlines themselves. Think about how strange that is. The thing attached to the airplane became more valuable than the airplane. This also explains why airlines aggressively push travel credit cards during flights. Flight attendants are no longer just providing service. On many routes, they are effectively part-time salespeople for financial products. The airline industry's center of gravity quietly shifted from transportation toward monetization ecosystems. And once that happened, the flying experience itself became secondary. But there is another reason flying feels worse now, and it has less to do with money than with math. Airlines intentionally oversell flights. This sounds insane until you understand the logic. A certain percentage of passengers fail to show up for every flight. Airlines track this obsessively. They use historical data, seasonal patterns, route behavior, and predictive algorithms to estimate exactly how many people are likely to miss boarding. Then they sell more tickets than seats. Most of the time, the model works. But when it fails, passengers get bumped from flights they technically paid for. And the reason airlines continue doing this is simple. The profit generated by consistently full flights outweighs the occasional compensation they must pay angry customers. From the airline's perspective, an empty seat is wasted revenue. Your certainty is less valuable than their optimization. And optimization has become the defining philosophy of modern air travel. Boarding procedures are optimized. Seat density is optimized. Pricing is optimized. Routes are optimized. Even the delays often reflect optimization. Airlines operate with extremely tight turnaround windows because idle airplanes lose money the faster a plane lands, unloads, reloads, and departs again, the more profitable it becomes. But systems optimize this aggressively become fragile. One weather delay in Atlanta can suddenly affect flights across half the country. One staffing issue in Denver can trigger cascading disruptions for thousands of passengers. Modern airline networks often operate less like calm transportation systems and more like tightly stretched supply chains constantly on the edge of instability. And then there is the airport itself, because airports quietly transformed too. Many major airports now resemble luxury shopping malls that happen to contain airplanes, designer stores, premium lounges, luxury restaurants, credit card partnerships, everywhere. This shift happened because airports realized something important. The most profitable passenger is not the traveler. It's the trapped traveler. Once you clear security, you become a captive customer with limited options, limited time, and inflated prices everywhere around you. A bottle of water costs $6 because the airport knows you are probably going to buy it anyway. And increasingly, the airport experience itself is divided by class, not first class versus economy, status versus no status, priority security lines, private lounges, exclusive boarding groups, early access lanes. The modern airport is designed to constantly remind you that there is a slightly better experience available if you spend just a little more money. Air travel became psychologically tiered. The discomfort is part of the upsell structure. And yet, despite all of this, airlines continue filling planes because flying still performs a kind of miracle. A few $100s and a few uncomfortable hours can move you across an entire continent. The problem is not that modern air travel is technologically unimpressive. It's that financially the incentives changed. Airlines stopped competing to make flying enjoyable. They started competing to make it efficient. Then they started competing to make it extractive. And those are very different goals. So here's what's actually happening when you squeeze into seat 28B on a flight that somehow cost more than you expected while feeling worse than it did 10 years ago. The seats are smaller because small reductions in comfort create massive increases in revenue. The fees exist because customers respond better to fragmented pricing than honest pricing. The boarding chaos exists because airlines maximize occupancy with mathematical precision. The airport feels commercialized because trapped passengers are incredibly profitable. And the loyalty program attached to your flight may genuinely matter more financially than the flight itself. None of this means the people working your flight are the problem. Most pilots, gate agents, and flight attendants are operating inside systems they did not create. Systems designed around efficiency metrics, shareholder pressure, and relentless optimization. But the overall experience feels miserable for a reason. Modern airlines discovered something uncomfortable. If customers care more about low prices than good experiences, then the winning strategy is not to make flying pleasant. It's to make unpleasantness tolerable, right up to the exact point where you still book the ticket anyway.